Hello there. It's been a while since I've posted here on my YouTube channel. I've been busy, I guess, as a caregiver for my mother. And also, I've been real busy at the Spirit University, which is a local um, school for psychics, for mediums, and for energetic healers, and other assorted courses. Um, it's been around in this area since 2011, and I've been active now as a regular for about 3 years now. But before I get into all that, my name again is Ivan Pozo-Illas, otherwise known as Atrayo. The reason for this video out of the blue is I'll be speaking at a psychic fair at the grounds of the Spirit University for their Addams Family Psychic Fair. Every psychic fair they have is a themed event. So I'll be speaking Saturday at 8:20 in the evening, and their psychic fair will be running Friday, October the 18th, and Saturday, October the 19th, from 7 to 10 in the evening. And I'll be speaking about 20 minutes. Most speakers will be speaking about 20 minutes. And of course, I'll be speaking about my books, the Jewels of Truth series of channeled angelic wisdom. And I'll just read from the introduction of what I'll be talking about. And then after that, I'll get into timing myself. This is like a rehearsal video. Um, so this will be the description of the event of what I'll be talking about. With over 24 years experience as an angelic automatic writer, Ivan Pozo-Illas, otherwise known as Atrayo, delves deep on his Jewels of Truth series of volumes of eclectic, inspirational angelic wisdom, meant to evoke a remembrance of our holy stature within by exploring the reflection of our divinity and its grandest, inclusive, compassionate, sublime truths, with examples of such statements shared aloud for those willing to contemplate the beauty of the divine in their common mist. That I wrote by automatic writing as well. So, let me get into my introduction here. Yes, like I said, I've been a regular now at the Spirit University for 3 years as of this month of October. I started first at the very simple psychic practice group that they have every Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. And then I got further into exploring that I was also a medium. Then I went into exploring the energetic healing with Reiki. I went through all three degrees of Reiki into Reiki Master. And then I've explored a little bit of therapeutic healing touch. And then I realized that energetic healing is also a form of mediumship. You're channeling, I guess, spirit guides, spirit teachers, healers, and you're basically a channel, a conduit for providing a healing of whatnot. And I've been practicing that on myself at a distance and through the Reiki shares that they have at the school. I've taken many courses on animal communication. Just recently I took one with Barbara Goodfriend that flies in from New Jersey, and I've done that already 4 times in these past 3 years. And whatnot. Let's see now. And usually with my mediumship, I seem to channel more so the animals, children, and then I eventually get into adults and so forth. But I still consider myself more like a beginner to maybe young intermediate student mediumship. So I wouldn't call myself a full mediumship, I guess, in public. I'm more of an angelic channeler. Like I stated, I've been doing 24 years of automatic writing, which is inspirational automatic writing versus the physical mediumship kind, where you do that as if you're doing a trance. Mine is more with my own mind intact. um, and I've written 3 books, the Jewels of Truth series, or 3 volumes. I have they're published by iUniverse, and I have more volumes. I have like 5 other manuscripts just piled up, so it comes out of me like a fountain. And I try to record all those insights as best as I can, and I do it by longhand usually, in written form, or what I call the shorthand series, which is on my social media, my Facebook, Atrayo's Oracle fan page. Otherwise, I have a blog site also called Atrayo's Oracle, 14 years now, has over 500 of these wisdom statements and so forth. And I also have over 200 inspirational inventions that I've channeled from the angels on a variety of topics, be it business models, models for charities, on public policy, on even some military tech, and other assorted inventions. So, but that I haven't been doing that too much, except maybe helping out at the Spirit University with some inspirations on the side, because being a caregiver, that zaps me from that really focused energy that's needed in channeling inventions or whatnot. So it's easier to do these bite-sized, like 4 or 5 paragraphs worth of wisdom statements. And now I've been, I guess, as of this year, I've been 33 years on my spiritual path. I started when I was 16 and until I was 19, troubled teenager, but I kept at it. And it wasn't until when I was 19 years old in Miami at Sunset Senior High School that I got the first whispers of an angel contacted me telepathically. First, I thought I was going schizophrenic or something, but it would always be gentle and compassionate and always only speak to me when I spoke to him or telepathically. To tell you the truth, the first 6 months, I thought I was talking to God, not unlike a Neil Donald Walsh of the Conversations of God series. But I soon eventually matured and found out I was talking to one of my angels. Probably what in spiritualist terms would be called one of your inner band. And I continued, and then as I progressed through the years, on and off, telepathically, more angels started to appear, and I guess they're part of my inner band as well. And now, 20, 24 years ago, I started automatic writing. A cousin of mine had a little cheesy little wisdom quote, and I competitively thought I could do better than that junk. And I started doing automatic writing, and it opened up the floodgates for me, which is, I guess, the legacy of it. I'm here now with the Jewels of Truth series. And I've also been for 14 years now, been channeling the inventions like I mentioned. And let's see, and I consider this a calling. So it's not just a career or a job. It's dharma. That's the Buddhist term for living out your passion, your calling. And it's been a therapy for me. It's been healing. And with the automatic writing, the angels, most of them are nameless. Although in the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, I've been starting to channel ascended masters, meaning what I consider the preppy named angels, not just the archangels. I also consider all lesser goddesses, gods of all mythologies to be angels, and just the big G, or god, goddess, I guess in Hindu it would be called Brahman, Vishnu, or Shiva. Those are three faces of the same God or creator God for them. That is apart from all the lesser deities that I consider to be angels. And I've channeled a few. I've channeled Hera on the topic of abortion. That's the wife of Zeus. I've channeled Saint Michael. Here I'll be reading later on an example of what I channeled one time with Saint Joan of Arc. And I've channeled with, I think, others, Pele, the Polynesian goddess. I've channeled, perhaps to hold to this, Hermes. I even channeled the leprechaun one time. I could channel fairies too, and and this has transformed me into being a sage, sort of like a young Obi-Wan or a young Yoda, a mystic, because I've channeled so much mystical truths. It's almost like theology of a sort, but it's not just for one religion, it's for all religions, because I consider myself to be more of a spiritual mutt. I belong to all faiths spiritually, as a principle, religions, although I'm not married to one of them. Some would say to belong to all of them, you belong to nothing. Well, one of the principles I've learned mystically is that this side of creation operates on paradoxes. So if you belong to nothing in a spiritual sense, maybe enlightened or otherwise, you belong to all of them absolutely, as a sort of like a whole circle of the yin and the yang. Something to consider. Um, okay, that's enough of me jabbing. Let me just read the three statements I have here by example. I have this one that I channeled at the school, at the Spirit University. They have a automatic writing practice group on Wednesdays, run by Barbara Harrison. It runs from 6 in the evening until 7, only an hour. And this is what I got there on the topic of justice and hope. This is statement number 2747. And so far I've channeled over 3,500 of these statements, some shorter, some longer. And this is how justice and hope reads. Those of us who remember of greater ideals do appreciate the sensibilities of what is and cannot be again. You see, we, the angelic host, are the adjudicators of a paradise without bounds. We fulfill all that is absolute and inclusively blessed of the will of Goddess, and by Goddess I mean the feminine, the mother aspect of God. This at times includes the protective measures of unruly, immature, and corrupt spirits outside the bounds of the endless heavens. Upon worlds like your primitive earth do we act as provincial governors of the dynamics of reality. Certain aspects that apply to the earth world do not translate well into the heavens. In this measure, for example, a realm of absolute grace of the heavens, there is no needs and wants. There is zero desires, for all is offered generously and instantly in spirit divine form. In contrast, the earth has contradictions that may come gradually, not at all, and instantly in truth. For instance, your civilization requires in most national societies the rule of laws known to you as justice. In contrast, in paradise, justice isn't required as a form of redress of wrongs committed. There is more than just a common decency. There is a pristine nature of an enlightened God at work. Moreover, on earth, there is hope, as positive expectations of the greater graces. In paradise, in contrast, there is no need for hope as prolonged expectations. There in the heavenly host, all is offered instantly without hesitations, for there are no needs whatsoever through God alone. All in all, the spiritual life of spirits with souls is immaculate, in contrast to earth as worlds that consider higher idealisms of mainstays of orders of functional needs such as the jurisprudence codices of the justice of the peace. And hope is a necessary function of expectant grace for the faithful mortals reborn upon chaotic worlds. Amen. And there I sign it with my name, Ivan Pozo-Illas, otherwise known as Atrayo. And that's one example. That was about 5 paragraphs. Besides, there's no need for justice or hope in paradise. There's no need for forgiveness either, which was not included in this statement, because all is forgiven by the absolute love of God. So here we need forgiveness. On this side of creation, we need hope and we need justice because we're mortals. And for the immortals in the heavens, they don't need that. Some may be enlightened, especially in soul form. In spirit form, they're not enlightened. In mediumship, I still, in channeling deceased loved ones or pets, they still see themselves as people, even though they're in God form as spirits, which is a contradiction. So I guess everyone's on their own path of eternal evolution. I'm going now to the next topic on false prophets. This is topic number 915B. This is what I call the social media series. This one appeared on my Facebook fan page of Atrayo's Oracle. It'll be also 5 paragraphs long. This is how it reads. All whom beckon closer to the scales of the powerful in the world, lo! Exclamation point. Be wary, for what one closes up to may not be what is in the plain common sight at first. For the power of authority reveals the great and the wicked upon our hearts. If there be a righteous character, there will be triumph upon the world in spite of setbacks. Otherwise, a corrupt character will be like a poser as a false prophet before the great and frail alike in the world. Trust not charlatans, for they will promise all the falsehoods they can assure you of and deliver few to none by blaming other fools upon their own lack of scruples. This is the indicative path of weak-willed leaders seeking vanity and status above the needs of others whom they are allegedly in service for originally. Authentic leaders rise to occasions of great moral need, hopefully for the greater good of those afflicted and in need of visionary guidance. All others that promise the world but deliver excuses are good for nothings, be they lauded as kings and queens of the masses. They reign over nothing, lest the power handed to them by others' authority that has forsaken their grandeur towards another by collective empowerment. Be astute and steer clear of such pretenders, for what they want is selfish and opaque to all others in terms of a misguided agenda. Do not forsake your critical faculties of reason by being apologists to partisan imbeciles. This will only tar and feather you in the court of public opinion, in spite of selective long memories of the misery you once supported upon others. Be not the miser of tribulations upon those in genuine need, for what you do today will have far-reaching echoes past this era and time. Let not your children's children lament the ancestry by belonging to traitors, by any other name known as Damon. Peace be upon the afflicted and the innocent of the state. Amen. And I sign it there with my name again. And by Damon, I mean demon. When I was writing this, I always usually use a hook, a keyword, and then I start to write out the topic with wisdom beyond my own lifetime. Because I pretty much have been a hermit. until I started coming to the Spirit University and sharing my gifts of God that have to be developed like a spiritual muscle. And when I was thinking about this of false prophets, I was thinking of Donald Trump. So hopefully I don't offend those that support him. He's very charismatic. Probably on a sociable level, he's great, but as a leader of the free worlds, supposedly, he doesn't jive with me. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but he's falling apart right before our eyes. He's like a slow motion Humpty Dumpty. So, now this last statement is the one I mentioned at the beginning of the video on Saint Joan of Arc. This one will be 3 paragraphs long, and there's a couple zingers in there. I consider them zingers. The last paragraph, she starts talking about me and what I've been doing. So this would be a statement, and I did this statement about a year ago on my blog site of Atrayo's Oracle. And these links could be found on my website of jewelsoftruth.us. That's jewelsoftruth.us. And there's a tab for my blog site, Atrayo's Oracle, on there. You'll have to look for the keyword Saint Joan of Arc. On the left index side of the page, there's keywords of the topics. And 14 years, that's a long list. Okay, this is how it goes. To which one is born out of need and destiny, comes a great repose upon the morrow, for those that entwine with one so bold and courageous of spirit. It is a tale of woe born out of conflict and a vacuum of power that I, Joan of Arc, usurped a weak leaders of my kingdom, to become a general amongst infantry, leading the timid and the foolhardy alike into battle. Weak leaders of the state by corruption and foolishness nearly lost France to our enemies. Only by the will of God strong in me by a faith that knew no bounds during my youth, I stood firm by the convictions of the holy miraculous messages that launched my life into political intrigue. By victories great and small in the fields of battle and the nightly courts of the state, no one stood to lose more than France if I shied away from my heralded destiny in this life. For fallow men would have delivered us into ruin. Yes, my time was short in such a corrupt age of men. Matrons such as I have moments that can eclipse the weak of the state, until their vile, petty hunger for power entraps the innocent and the great alike. I was, as I am forever, the rebirth of Saint Michael, the Archangel of God foremost. I stand shoulder to shoulder with my brethren and sisterly archangels, united by the omnipotent perfection of God in each of us. You, Ivan the Atrayo, should know this more than most, as the rebirth of the Archangel of the children of God, Zihatra, the great nurturer of souls. Your spirit will perform wonders by strokes of genius, and upholds the gentlest truth by the will of God. No hubris will befall you, or lust shall taint your pure heart of God that is without stain forever. Even if you create folly by poor choices, your destiny on earth will triumph. For it is foretold, unbeknownst to you, caretaker of countless of the living, dying, and the ancestral dead. Amen. And that again was channeled by Saint Joan of Arc. And by, she's saying me, a caretaker of the countless. Well, right now I'm a caretaker to or caregiver to my mother. I guess she has Parkinson's dementia with Lewy bodies. I guess in that form she's the dying. I've helped the living and the ancestral dead as a medium or a studio medium authentically. So I guess that's what she was alluding to. So Now I've gone about 25 minutes. I've gone over the 20 minutes that was allotted. But I just wanted to see if I could time myself, and I did. And again, will be posted on my YouTube page. And I also have a Pinterest page, which is also found under my, I guess, Inspirational Quotes tab on my website, jewelsoftruth.us. And there's over 250 memes of these channeled statements of the angels' wisdom. So it's all free there. And again, like I stated, there's over 500 plus these wisdom statements on my blog site. Otherwise, my books are self-published, are found on Amazon Kindle, Barnes & Noble Nook, and in paperback, either at the iUniverse bookstore or in ebook form. So, and they're also found on the 3 copies left. I have yet to restock on the Spirit University bookshelf. There's 2 on Volume 3. Volume 3 has 348 pages. There's 1 copy of Volume 2 left, and that has about 193 pages. And Volume 1, which is I haven't restocked there yet, has around 93 pages. So you see, with each subsequent volume, I write more, or I channel more by automatic writing. And to know that that this isn't me, I've never had writer's block in 24 years' time with inspirational automatic writing. So just to let you know, this is not my ego. This is my calling, this is my love, and this is my healing. So thank you for watching, and I hope you attend, those of you in the Sarasota, Bradenton, or the Tampa Bay area, the Spirit University Addam's Psychic Fair this October the 18th and 19th, Friday and Saturday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Besides speaking on Saturday at 8:20 p.m. for 20 minutes, I also will be an intuitive psychic reader doing tarot, or I could also do hoodoo bones. I do pendulum. This is all divination. Or I could do automatic writing. There usually are 15-minute readings, and they go for $25. And also the admission is $5. And that's at 373 Bradenton Avenue in Minnesota. It's between Bradenton and Sarasota, or Sarasota and Manatee counties. And thank you for watching, and good journey.